I was trying to find a meme of some sort to deal with the two-level system. Well, nobody makes memes about PChem really, so I'm having to build all these myself. And so I thought, when I typed in levels, level meme, whatever, I got this Mario graphic. And I was like, yeah, that'll work. It's a two-level system. We got, you know, Mario has many, many more levels, but we'll just go with two for now. So let's look at this. This is a review of that two-level system that we just talked about. And we're going to go through what happens when you raise the temperature. We could do this by hand, right? We could start at room temperature, do the full calculation, and then we could do a higher temperature and do the same calculation over again, or we could put it in Excel and just have a temperature column and just run that temperature column up, and we would produce this next curve, okay? So we're using this Boltzmann distribution with the partition function, and that partition function is summed across all available states, and so it serves as that denominator in the probability. So it's all possible events, and the denominator is captured by this partition function, where that's the sum of all of the Boltzmann factors that you have in the system. And then, of course, we're using beta, so that's the same as 1 over kT, so it's the energy divided by kT. So nothing's changed in this problem. So I just have it restated here in this set of notes. Okay, so here's what we have plotted. Now, this is a kind of an interesting plot because there's we're plotting probability for the ground state and the excited state. And so that has a maximum of 1, 0 to 1. 0 probability, the event will not happen. 1, the event is 100% probable, okay? And so these bottom two curves are probability, okay? So this is the probability for this curve and for this curve, okay? And then I've also plotted the partition function on here. And it's not a probability, it's just plotted as the partition function, okay? So that's the sum of those Boltzmann factors. So notice what happens. Let's just focus on the partition function first. So it starts at 1 and increases with temperature. And so the partition function is a sort of a measure of the available levels. And in a two-level system, the max it can be is 2. And the minimum it can be, you might think the minimum would be 0. But you can't have a partition function of 0. Because there's always a level available, and it's the ground state. So when you go to absolute 0 temperature, everything's in the ground state. Notice the red line. The red line is the probability of being in the ground state, right? And so as the partition function, we cool things down, the partition function goes to 1. We have everything in one energy level. And what is that energy level? It's the ground state. And the probability of being in the ground state goes to 1. So does that make sense? The low temperature part of this diagram? Temperature goes to 0, everything's in the ground state. So remember, we're plotting probability here. So the probability of being in that ground state is 1. The probability of being in the excited state goes to 0. So it's just not going to happen. You're not going to have any excited molecules at absolute 0 Kelvin. Okay. Then we start raising the temperature. Now, we can't actually put temperature in the system unless there's molecules that hop to the excited state. That's where we store the temperature. So as we start increasing the temperature and putting more kelvins in there, then the molecules or atoms or whatever the system is starts to absorb some of that energy and appear in the excited state. So you see that the probability of being in the excited state goes up, and the probability of the ground state goes down. So they're mirror images of each other. And the partition function starts to creep up. We have like 1.1 or 1.3, and it increases. What does it eventually go to asymptotically? 2, right? So at infinite temperature, we're going to have 2 levels that are populated. And what will the probabilities be? 50-50, right? Half the molecules will be in the excited state, half the molecules will be in the ground state, because there's really no difference between those two at infinite temperature. Good morning. And so you might think about, let's see. Yeah, let's say at the ground state, let me just use this as an example. At the ground state, yeah, here, let's do this. Here's the energy level diagram. So at 0 Kelvin, the only energy level, so I'm the system, right? I have molecules, whatever, and what energy levels are accessible to me at 0 Kelvin? At 0 Kelvin, I can touch the ground state, and that's it. I cannot get to the excited state. I don't have enough energy. But if I increase my temperature, now I can reach both of them. Okay? And in fact, I have so much temperature that the difference between these is insignificant. If I swing my arm out, I might grab the excited state. If I swing my arm out, I might grab the ground state. And so it's a 50-50 chance at this high temperature that I could grab either one of those. So maybe this will get you thinking about, if I raise the temperature, the difference in the energy levels is insignificant. If I lower the temperature, those quantum effects start to emerge. I start to see a big difference between excited molecules and ground state molecules, because it's pretty rare that I have an excited. Get down here without breaking my leg. All right, good. And so this x-axis here is temperature divided by room temperature. So this is multiples of room temperature, and this spacing here, 400 wave numbers, is about 2 times room temperature. So 2x room temperature. Because room temperature is around 200 wave numbers of thermal energy. And so here we don't have, notice at 1 times room temperature, so at room temperature, we don't have enough energy to get to 400 wave numbers because we only have 200 wave numbers in the system. But remember, this is statistical. We might have one, what is the percentage? This is the percentage of the excited state. So it looks like about a 10% chance. A 10% chance. So 10 out of 100 atoms, molecules, whatever this is measuring, 10 out of 100 are in the excited state. It's not very probable. Okay. We're at 200 wave numbers of energy, around 298 Kelvin, and that's enough energy to excite 10 out of 100 molecules. Okay. If we get up here to 10 times room temperature, now we've got 40, 49, and 51. So 49 out of 100 are in the excited state, 51 out of 100 are in the ground state, because we're 10 times room temperature. Okay. So the probabilities approach the 50-50 mark of essentially these next few slides we've already talked about. So that makes sense. As we go to higher temperatures, it's a 50-50 shot. There's really no difference. If you've got this much temperature, there's really no difference between the energy levels in these two systems. Okay. And then you can think of Q as a count of the available energy levels. And so naturally, as the temperature goes up to really high, you're going to have a Q of 2. Now, that's because this is only 2 energy levels in their system that we're describing here. But in molecules, there's no limit. Like translational energies, you can have 10 to the 30, 10 to the 40 as Q, because you have all of these translational levels. Rotational levels, there's no limit. Theoretically, I mean, you spin the molecule apart eventually. That centrifugal distortion constant that we measured in carbon monoxide, if you spin that molecule fast enough, the bond length's going to get farther out, and you might destroy the molecule through its rotational spinning. Vibration too. Theoretically, there's no limit in the harmonic oscillator, but we have anharmonicity, and so then you could pull that bond apart by vibrational energy. So there would be a maximum Q, but it's really high. And so let's get into our translational partition functions. I'm going to break the video here too.